We're going to turn to Bruce Willis. It has been almost 3 months since his family announced the actor would be stepping away from his career after being diagnosed with aphasia.
Time now for some of the biggest trending stories. We have a health update on actor Bruce Willis as his wife prepares to release her upcoming book.
Bruce was first diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia.
At 70 years old, Bruce Willis, the beloved star who once defined courage and strength on the big screen, is now facing one of the most heartbreaking chapters of his life. For decades, audiences admired him as the fearless hero of Die Hard and countless other films where he always found a way to win. But today, that same hero is fighting a battle he cannot defeat. After a tragic diagnosis that has taken away his ability to do what he loves most, Bruce is slowly stepping away from the spotlight. His family stands by his side, cherishing each precious moment, while fans around the world struggle to come to terms with the painful truth. This is not just the story of an actor. It's the emotional farewell of a man who gave everything to his craft and is now saying goodbye with the same quiet strength that made him a legend. Bruce Willis was born on March 19, 1955 in Idar Oberstein, West Germany, where his American father David was stationed as a soldier and his German mother Marlene worked to support their young family. When Bruce was 2, the family returned to the U.S., settling in Carneys Point, New Jersey, a working-class town that shaped much of his grit and humility. His parents were hard-working people. His father became a welder and mechanic, while his mother found work at a local bank. Growing up, Bruce battled a stutter that made speaking a daily challenge. But when he joined the school drama club, something remarkable happened. The stutter faded whenever he stepped on stage. Acting gave him confidence. And by his senior year, he was student council president, already showing the charisma that would define his future. After high school, he drifted through blue-collar jobs, guarding a nuclear plant, driving workers at a chemical factory, even working as a private investigator before finally realizing where he belonged under the spotlight. He studied drama at Montclair State University, but left early to chase his dream in New York City, tending bar in Hell's Kitchen while waiting for his big break. When Bruce Willis first appeared on television in Moonlighting from 1985 to 1989, few could have guessed that the wisecracking private detective David Addison would become one of Hollywood's defining faces of the 1980s. Competing against thousands of hopefuls, Willis won the role that would change his life. His chemistry with co-star Sybil Shepherd lit up the screen, blending comedy and charm in a way that felt effortless and earned him both an Emmy and a Golden Globe. As fame arrived, so did the endorsements. Willis became the face of Seagram's wine coolers, earning millions, though he later walked away when he quit drinking. A rare decision of quiet integrity in an industry built on indulgence. In 1988, he leapt from TV stardom to movie superstardom with Die Hard. As John McClane, the everyman cop trapped in a Los Angeles skyscraper, Willis didn't just play a hero, he redefined one. His bruised humor and vulnerability made McClane more human than any action figure before him, and audiences around the world embraced him. That same year, he showed a softer side in Blind Date and In Country, and even lent his voice to the talking baby in Look Who's Talking, revealing a versatility that went far beyond explosions and punchlines. The 90s brought triumphs and tumbles. Willis's fame soared with Die Hard sequels and the surreal brilliance of Pulp Fiction, where his quiet intensity gave the film its moral weight. Yet between box office smashes, there were flops. Hudson Hawk, Color of Night, and others that critics mocked, but fans quietly rented on VHMs. He weathered each stumble with stoic humor, returning stronger in films like 12 Monkeys, The Fifth Element, and the blockbuster Armageddon. The latter rescuing not just Earth in the story, but Willis's own wavering career. In the 2000s and 2010s, he became the grizzled veteran of action cinema, appearing in everything from Sin City to Red to Looper. He even showed up in Friends, played himself in a Comedy Central roast, and surprised Broadway audiences in Misery. His later years were filled with cameos, voice roles, and nostalgic returns to the franchises that built his legend. Yet beneath the bravado, there was always a reflective edge, a man aware that his journey from a stuttering boy in New Jersey to Hollywood's ultimate tough guy was both miraculous and fleeting. His story feels less like an action movie and more like a bittersweet echo of a man who fought his way into stardom and quietly carried its weight ever since. In March 2022, The world was stunned when Bruce Willis's family announced heartbreaking news. The legendary action star had been diagnosed with aphasia, a cruel neurological disorder that steals a person's ability to communicate. He could think clearly, but the words refused to come out. The man, once known for his sharp wit and confident charm, suddenly found himself trapped inside his own silence. Then came an even darker revelation. By early 2023, doctors confirmed that Bruce was suffering from frontotemporal dementia, a progressive brain disease that doesn't just take away speech, but pieces of a person's very being. There was no cure, no treatment, just an irreversible decline. His family could do nothing but watch as the man they loved slowly disappeared before their eyes. Months later, in December 2024, his ex-wife Demi Moore tried to reassure fans by saying Bruce was in a stable condition, but that word didn't bring comfort. It only raised more questions. Was stable a quiet way of saying things had gotten worse? By that time, reports suggested Bruce could no longer form complete sentences, barely read, and struggled to walk or move without help. The same man who once performed his own movie stunts now battled to take simple steps. His wife, Emma Willis, confessed that watching his speech fade was terrifying, especially because she hadn't realized what was happening at first. Bruce had stuttered as a child, so when his speech began to change, she thought it was just that old struggle returning. She couldn't have imagined it was something far more devastating. Even more heartbreaking, Emma revealed that Bruce might not fully understand what's happening to him. He lives in a confusing in-between, aware yet unaware, present yet distant. Still, Emma has tried to fill his days with warmth, choosing love even when everything around her feels unbearable. But in August 2025, her decision to move Bruce into a separate home with 24-hour caregivers set off a storm of controversy. Was she abandoning him or saving him? Emma explained that Bruce would have wanted their daughters, 12-year-old Mabel and 10-year-old Evelyn, to grow up in a home filled with laughter and normalcy, not shadowed by illness. Yet the decision tore her apart. She's not only a wife anymore. She's a caregiver, a mother, and a woman trying to hold her family together while watching her husband fade away. Her daughters miss their dad deeply. He forgets birthdays, school events, even the small gestures that once made him such a devoted father. Emma worries about how the loss of the dad they knew will shape them forever. By July 2025, overwhelmed by rumors and speculation, Emma spoke out. She asked the public to stop judging what they couldn't possibly understand. Because behind the headlines and whispers is a family clinging to love while learning how to say goodbye. Not all at once, but a little more with each passing day. Bruce Willis's decline didn't just shock his fans, it broke the hearts of those closest to him. His eldest daughter, Tallulah Willis, later revealed how she had misread the early signs of his illness. Before anyone knew the truth, she thought her father had grown distant, maybe even uninterested in her life. He didn't seem present, she recalled, believing for a time that his silence meant he no longer cared. The guilt of that misunderstanding still lingers. But today, Tallulah speaks openly about it, reminding others how vital it is to talk and pay attention. Because sometimes love hides behind illness. Through it all, Bruce's family stayed close. His ex-wife, Demi Moore, remains deeply involved, often joining family gatherings and sharing warm photos online. Snapshots of a family clinging together in the face of heartbreak. On Bruce's 70th birthday, they all reunited, proving that while his memory may fade, their love hasn't. But the signs of Bruce's struggle were visible long before his diagnosis became public. Between 2018 and 2022, he appeared in over 20 films. Not the high-budget blockbusters of his past, but smaller rushed productions made to cash in on his star power. He could earn millions for just a few days of work, but behind the scenes, things weren't right. Crew members noticed he had trouble remembering lines, understanding directions, or even following basic cues. On the set of Hard Kill in 2020, co-star Lala Kent recalled a frightening moment when Bruce fired a prop gun at the wrong time twice. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the incident rattled everyone. The once reliable action star was suddenly unpredictable. From then on, crews quietly worked to protect him, simplifying his lines and scenes to avoid embarrassment. One insider admitted, "We had to make him look good. He was being puppeted." Those words still sting. The image of Bruce Willis, once the unstoppable hero of Die Hard, now guided through scenes he could no longer grasp. On Midnight in the Switchgrass, director Randall Emmett reportedly struggled to get Bruce to perform simple actions like kicking down a door. He needed an earpiece to feed him lines, but even then confusion clouded his face. Others on set described him as lost, sometimes asking, "Why am I here?" That moment, the man who once commanded the screen, now questioning his own purpose, became one of the most haunting memories for those who worked beside him. Rumors soon spread that some filmmakers had kept hiring Bruce despite knowing his condition, seeing profit before compassion. His name alone could turn a modest production into a financial win. Insiders claim that certain producers ignored the obvious decline because a Bruce Willis movie still sold. Some directors, however, like Mike Burns and Jesse V. Johnson, later refused to cast him again, realizing the cost was too high. Not just financially, but morally. Behind all this lies a question that cuts deep. Why did no one stop it sooner? Perhaps Bruce wanted to keep working. Perhaps those around him didn't yet grasp the seriousness. Or maybe in an industry built on relentless momentum, no one knew how to say enough. For decades, Bruce's career was built on endurance. The explosions, the stunts, the long nights. That devotion took its toll. Doctors say his condition wasn't caused by overwork, but constant stress can accelerate cognitive decline. And Bruce gave everything, his energy, his body, his focus to entertain millions. Now the lights have dimmed, the cameras have stopped, and the hero who once saved the day is the one being saved by his family. There are no rewrites or retakes this time, only love, memory, and the quiet courage of letting go. Frontotemporal dementia, the disease that has silenced Bruce Willis, remains one of the most mysterious and least understood neurological conditions. Unlike Alzheimer's, it strikes younger, progresses unpredictably, and robs its victims not of memory first, but of language, empathy, and identity. Because it's so rare, research lags far behind. But in March 2023, scientists at the University of Sheffield announced a glimmer of hope, a nasal spray that could one day slow or even prevent some forms of FTD. It's still years away from human trials, far too late to help Bruce himself. Yet for his daughters who may carry the genetic risk, this discovery could one day protect them from the same cruel fate that has stolen their father. Today, Bruce is 70. His condition is considered stable, a word that feels both comforting and cruel. Stable means he's not declining rapidly, but it also means he's not improving. He exists in a fragile in-between where pieces of the man we knew still flicker through, but the light is dimmer now. Emma Hemming Willis remains his steady guardian, or as she poignantly calls herself, his care partner. Their daughters, Mabel and Evelyn, visit him often at his care home, still bringing laughter into rooms now filled with quiet. His ex-wife, Demi Moore, and their older daughters, Rumer, Scout, and Tallulah, continue to show up for birthdays, holidays, and small family moments that matter more than ever. Despite everything, the family remains united, bound not by duty, but by love that refuses to fade. Because behind the headlines and gossip lies a truth the world often overlooks. This is not a story of abandonment. It's a story of endurance, of a wife balancing motherhood and caregiving, of daughters mourning a father who's still physically here, but slipping away piece by piece, and of an ex-wife who could have walked away but never did. Each of them holds a fragment of Bruce, protecting his memory even as it fades within him. For Bruce Willis, the man who once embodied cinematic strength, the fearless hero running into explosions and danger, this final chapter is heartbreakingly human. His farewell isn't the grand exit of a movie scene. It's slow, quiet, and unbearably tender. One by one, his abilities have fallen away. First his words, then his comprehension, then his physical freedom. What remains is something pure and fragile. The love surrounding him, the memories he gave us, and the courage of those who care for him every day. As fans, we can honor him not just by remembering his films, but by learning from his journey. We can push for more research into FTD, support organizations fighting for awareness, and have open conversations about brain health, especially in an industry that too often demands silence until it's too late. We can also ask for change within Hollywood, for better protections for aging actors, clearer boundaries when health is at risk, and more compassion for those struggling behind the camera's glare. Bruce Willis taught the world what it meant to be a hero, not because he saved the day on screen, but because he showed strength even as his world fell apart. Now, his legacy isn't just in his films, it's in the love that surrounds him, the awareness his story brings, and the reminder that true courage sometimes means holding on even as everything slips away.